What's up, guys? Jimbo 203 back at you with another one. So, 8 years after a young man, 24 years old, disappeared from Bridgeport. Yesterday, they got two guys who did it, and they actually found the body buried in a basement not far from my house, maybe a couple blocks. Crazy story. So, let's get into it. Like, comment, subscribe if you could. Thank you. 8 years after 24-year-old Arundel Castro disappeared from his city home, police arrested a local landlord and a convicted killer living in South Carolina in connection with his murder. Police said the landlord, 45-year-old Sean Gibson, led detectives to the basement of a relative's home on Noble Avenue late Thursday afternoon, where they say they found Castro's remains buried. I spent many a nights on Noble Avenue. I used to live on Noble Avenue, 11 block or two away right now. Noble Ave was the shit back in the day, man. It's pretty dead now. They burnt down like the main store, Caribbe's and all that, but let me go on in this story. We did all in our power to find Aries' body so his family can have peace and closure, Bridgeport State's attorney Joseph Corradino said as the victim's body was brought out of the house on a stretcher. Earlier Thursday, Castro's family stood in the lobby of the Golden Hill Street courthouse waiting for Gibson to be arraigned for murder. At that point, they were unaware police were busily digging in the Noble Avenue basement for the victim's remains. It had been a long 8 years since my brother disappeared, but we never gave up, and thankfully the police never gave up, said Castro's brother. Lieutenant Chris Lemaine told me 8 years ago he was going to keep searching for my brother and never give up, and he kept his promise and found my brother's killers. Lemaine, who later emerged from the Noble Ave house shovel in hand, said he made every effort to solve this case for the family. They deserved closure, he later said. However, Castro's mother later collapsed, sobbing in the courtroom as Gibson was brought before Superior Court Judge Tracy Lee Dayton. Other family members began shouting at Gibson, "Where's Ari? Where's the body?" But Gibson did not respond and showed no emotion as he stood before the judge. Corradino asked the judge to set a bond of $250,000, a low figure for a murder case, but he explained that they needed Gibson available to help them find Castro's remains. He is aware of the continuing investigation, Gibson's lawyer, Fred Paoletti, told the judge. The judge imposed the $250,000 bond and ordered Gibson to wear a GPS monitoring anklet. She continued the case to December 21st. On Wednesday, police said they arrested Terrence Boyd, 55, in Columbia, South Carolina, and charged him with murder in this case. Boyd was convicted in the 80s of beating a 63-year-old New Canaan woman in the head and drowning her in her swimming pool. What the freak? Police said Boyd recently admitted he helped Gibson kill Castro. He's awaiting extradition back to Connecticut. I'll put it in a nutshell for you, Boyd told police. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, this guy Castro stole some tools from Sean Gibson. He didn't like it. He told me to go get the guy. Brought him to the house, beat him to death, and then buried him. Castro's family reported him missing in September 2013. Lemaine continued to work the case with the members of the Bridgeport State's Attorney Cold Case Unit. Senior Assistant State's Attorney David Applegate and Susan Campbell. We are committed to seeking answers and justice for victims of violent crimes and their families. This is an example of how important persistence and teamwork are in these investigations, said Applegate. According to the affidavit, Boyd told detectives that he and Gibson had brought Castro to a rooming house on Noble Avenue that Gibson owned, and Gibson began beating Castro with his fist. Boyd told detectives the beating became so bad that he had vomited. Boyd said he had left to get some beers, but as he left, he said he could still hear Gibson beating Castro, the affidavit states. The affidavit continues that both men later put Castro's remains in a large plastic bag. They initially took it to the house Gibson owned on Moffett Street, then tried to bury it in Beardsley Park, but couldn't dig a deep enough hole, the affidavit states. Idiots. If you bury that in Beardsley Park, it would be found anyways. Pretty quickly. I'm betting. Like all over that park, people walk their dogs. They see a fresh dirt the size of a body. I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna say something. These two weren't too bright. But rest in peace to the victim. Condolences to the family. And I'm glad that they got justice. They got to find out who killed their family member and found their family member's body also. God bless. Jimbo 203. Peace.